Welcome to my channel Mindset Mastery Hub, where I'll be sharing with you summary of best books on success in all fields of life. Today I'll be sharing with you the summary of 0 to 1 written by Peter Thiel and Blake Masters. Peter Thiel is an entrepreneur and investor. He is also the founder of PayPal. This book explains the power of massive scale up in startup business and how to get there and helps you to understand how a startup works. So let's begin with the summary of this book 0 to 1. It is easier to copy a model than to make something new. Doing what we already know how to do a business takes the world from 1 to n, adding more of something familiar. But every new creation goes from 0 to 1. The future of progress can take one of the two forms. First one is the horizontal progress, means copying things that work. Horizontal progress is easy to imagine because we already know what it looks like. China is the best example of globalization as they are manufacturing and exporting the products which is working successfully elsewhere in the world. But vertical progress means doing new things, going from 0 to 1. Vertical progress is hard to imagine because it requires doing something which nobody has done ever before. However, the single word for 0 to 1 progress is technology, and new and better way of doing things is technology and has never been tried in the past. New technology tends to come with new ventures where small group of people bound together by sense of mission that will change the world for the better. Positively defined, a startup is the largest group of people who can convince of a plan to build a different future. Startup company's most important strength is new thinking. Author says when he started PayPal, he did not have enough customers, growth was slow and expenses were increasing. For PayPal to grow, he needed to attract the customers. So he came up with an idea of sign up. So he decided to pay people who sign up for PayPal. PayPal gave new customers $10 for joining and gave the existing customers $10 for every time they referred to a friend. This got them hundreds and thousands of new customers and an exponential growth rate. The entrepreneurs who got stuck learned 4 big lessons from the dot-com crash in 2000. That is still a business guide today. Lesson number 1 is make an incremental advances. Anyone who wants to change the world should be very much humble. Small incremental steps are only the safe path forward. Lesson number 2 is stay lean and flexible. All companies must be lean and should try things out. Treat entrepreneurship as a room for experimentation. Lesson number 3. Improve on competition. The only way to know you have a real business is to start with an already existing customer. So you should build your company by improving on the known products already offered by successful competitors. Lesson number 4. Focus on your products and not sales. If your product requires advertising or salespeople to sell it, it's not good enough. Technology is primarily about the product development and not just marketing. Also, author says it is better to take risks than being worthless. A bad plan is better than no plan, and a competitive market destroys profit. There are 2 simplified models to explain the different marketplace. The first one is the perfect competitive marketplace and the second one is monopoly market. So-called perfectly competitive market achieves balance when supply meets customers' demand. Every firm in a competitive market is same and sells the same homogeneous products. So no firm has any market power. They must all sell at whatever price the market demands. Under the perfect competition market, in the long run, no company makes an economic profit. The opposite of perfect competition is monopoly. Whereas a competitive firm must sell at the market price, a monopoly owns its own market, so it can set its own price. Since it has no competition, it produces the quantity and the price combination that maximizes its profit. By monopoly, it means the kind of company that is so good at what it does that no other company can offer a close substitute. Google is a good example of a company that went from 0 to 1. It hasn't competed in search since early 2000. It is a market leader in search engine. The lesson for entrepreneur is clear. If you want to create and capture lasting value, don't build an competitive business model. A monopoly like Google is different since it doesn't have to worry about a competition anymore. It has a wider latitude to care about its workers, its products, and its impact on the wider world. In a perfect competition, a business is so focused on today's margin that it can't possibly plan for a long-term future. Creative monopoly business gives customers more choices by adding entirely new categories of abundance to the world. But it's clear that something like Apple's monopoly, it gets profit from designing, producing, and marketing the iPhone, where the reward for creating greater abundance, not an artificial scarcity. Customers are happy to finally have the choice of paying high prices to get a smartphone that works actually. Monopolies drive progress because the promise of years or even decades of monopoly provides profits. This enables them for a long-term plans and to finance the ambitious research projects. Creative monopoly means new products that benefits everybody and sustainable profits for the creator. Competition means no profits for anybody, no meaningful differentiation, and a struggle for survival. Companies lose sight of what matters and focus on their rivals instead. Escaping competition will give you a monopoly, but even a monopoly is only a great business if you can endeavor in the future. Comparing discounted cash flow shows the difference between the low growth business and a high growth. Most of the value of low growth business is in the near term. Any firm with close competitor will see its profit reduced in the near future. Nightclubs and restaurants are the best example. Successful restaurants might collect healthy amounts today, but their cash flow will reduce over the next few years when customers move to a newer and trendier alternatives. Technology companies follows the opposite trajectory. They often lose money for the first few years. It takes time to build a valuable things, and that means delayed revenue. Most of the tech companies' values will come at least 10 or 15 years in future. LinkedIn is a good example of a tech company whose value exists in the far future. Every monopoly is unique, but they usually have some common combination of business characteristics. These characteristics are: number 1, proprietary technology; number 2, network effects; number 3, economics of scale; and number 4, branding. Proprietary technology is the greatest advantage a company can have because it makes your product difficult or impossible to replicate. For example, Google's search algorithm returns results better than anyone else. As a good thumb rule, proprietary technology must be at least 10 times better than its closest competitor. The clearest way to make 10x improvement is to invent something completely new. If you build something valuable where there are nothing before, the increase in the value is theoretically infinite. For example, a medicine to cure for a head baldness would certainly support a monopoly business. Or you can radically improve an existing solution. Once you are 10 times better, you escape the competition. For example, PayPal made buying and selling on eBay at least 10 times better. Amazon made its first 10x improvement in a particularly visible way. They offered at least 10 times as many books as any other bookstore. When it was launched in 1995, Amazon could claim to be the Earth's largest bookstore because, unlike a retail bookstore that might stock 100,000 books, Amazon didn't need to physically store any inventory. It simply requested the title from its supplier whenever a customer made an order. Number 2, the network effects. Network effects make a product more useful as more people use it. For example, if all your friends are on Facebook, it makes sense for you to join Facebook too. Network effects can be powerful, but it will never reap them unless your product is valuable to its very first users when the network is necessarily small. Facebook started with just Harvard students. Mark Zuckerberg's first product was designed to get all his classmates signed up, not to attract all the people of the earth. This is why a successful network business are so small that they often don't even appear to be business opportunities at all. Number 3 is the economics of scale. Software startups can enjoy especially dramatic economics of scale because the marginal cost of producing another copy of the product is close to zero. Service businesses especially are difficult to make monopolies and scale up. For example, if you own a yoga studio, you will only be able to serve a certain number of customers. You can hire more instructors and expand to more locations. But your margin will remain fairly low and you will never reach a point you can add value to millions of people, as software engineers are able to do. A good startup should have a potential for a great scale built into its first design. Example, Twitter has already 250 million users today, and so there is no reason why it should ever stop growing. Number 4 is branding. Creating a strong brand is a powerful way to claim monopoly. Today's greatest tech brand is Apple. Attractive looks and carefully chosen material of the product like the iPhone or a MacBook It manufactures products at a large scale enough to dominate pricing of a material it buys, and it enjoys a strong network effects from its content ecosystem. For building a monopoly brand, start small and monopolize. Every startup is small at the start. Every monopoly dominates a large share of its market. Therefore, every startup should start with a very small market. The reason is simple. It's easier to dominate a small market than a large one. Scaling up once you create and dominate the market, then you should gradually expand into related and slightly broader markets. Amazon is the best example for this. Amazon became the dominant solution for the people who are located far away from the bookstore. Parallelly, they started with a similar bookstore market like CDs, videos, and software. Amazon continued to add categories gradually until it became the world's general store. Startups should craft a plan to expand to adjacent market but should not disrupt the market and should avoid the competition as much as possible. Every company starts in unique circumstances and every company starts only once. You should do what you could and not focus on what you could not. As it is rightly said, shallow men believe in luck and circumstances, whereas strong men believe in cause and effects. Startups should be a lean startup that can adapt and evolve to a ever-changing environment. Entrepreneurs should listen to what customers say they want, make nothing more than a minimum viable product, and iterate your way to success. Every correct answer is necessarily an idea, something important and unknown, something hard to do but doable. If there are many ideas and concepts left in this world, there are mostly many world changing companies yet to be started. The same is true for business. Great companies can be built on open but unsuspected ideas and concepts about how the world works. Consider the Silicon Valley startup Airbnb. Before Airbnb, travelers had little choice but to pay high prices for a hotel room. Airbnb saw this untapped supply and unaddressed demand where others saw nothing at all. The same is true for private car services like example Uber. Few people imagined that it was possible to build a billion-dollar business by simply connecting people who want to go to places with people willing to drive them. Every great company is a unique, but there are few things that every business must get right at the beginning. Companies are like countries. If you choose a wrong partner or hire the wrong people, are very hard to correct after they are made. It may take a crisis on the order of bankruptcy before anybody even try to correct them. As a founder, one's first job is to get the things right because founder cannot build a great company on a wrong foundation. When you start something, the first and the most crucial decision you make is whom to start with. Choosing a co-founder is like getting married, and founder conflict is just as ugly as divorce. But if the founder develops a differences, the company becomes the victim. It is not just founders who need to get along. Everyone in your company needs to work well together. It is very hard to go from 0 to 1 without a team. You need good people who get along, but you also need a structure to help keep everyone aligned for a long term. To anticipate like sources of misalignment in any company, it's very useful to distinguish between three concepts. First is ownership, who legally owns the company's equity. The second one is possession, who actually runs the company on day-to-day basis. And the third one is control, who formally governs the company's affair. A typical startup allocates ownership among the founders, employees and investors. The managers and the employees who operate the company enjoy possession. The potential for conflict increases over time as interest diverges. Example, a board member might want to take a company public as soon as possible to score a win for his venture firm, while the founders would prefer to stay private and grow the business. In the boardroom, less is good. The smaller the board, the easier it is for the directors to communicate, to reach to a conclusion, and to exercise effective oversight. This is why it's very crucial to choose wisely every single member of your board. A board of 3 is ideal. Your board should never exceed 5 people unless your company is publicly held. As a general rule, everyone who involved with your company should be involved full time. That is why hiring consultant doesn't work. Part-time employee don't work. Even working remotely should be avoided because misalignment can creep in whenever colleagues aren't together full time in the same place every day. For people to be fully committed, they should be properly compensated. Startups don't need to pay high salaries because they can offer something better. Start with a thought experiment. What would be the ideal company culture look like? Employees should love their work. They should enjoy going to office so much that formal business hours become obsolete and nobody watches the clock. The workplace should be open and not cubicle, and workers should feel at home. A startup is a team of people on a mission, and the good culture is just what that looks like on the inside. Beyond professionalism, since time is most valuable asset, it's odd to spend time working with the people who don't envision any long-term future together. Recruiting is a core competency for any company. It should never be outsourced. You need people who are not just skilled on paper but who will work together cohesively after they are hired. In startup, don't fight this salary package war. Just cover the basics like the health insurance and then promise what no others can give. The opportunity to do irreplaceable work on a unique problem alongside great people. From the outside, everyone in your company should be different in the same way. What makes a startup employee instantly distinguishable to outsider is the branded t-shirt that makes one look the same as his co-worker. The startup uniform brings a simple but essential principle. Everyone in a company should be different in the same way. A tribe of like-minded people completely devoted to company's mission. Startups have limited resources and a small team. They must work quickly and efficiently in order to survive, and that's easier to do when everyone shares an understanding of the world. One thing is very important in startup. Every individual should be sharply distinguished by his or her work. So friends, write in the comment box what you like the most from this video and are going to implement to start your own small business. Thank you friends for watching this inspiring video. If you are not yet subscribed to my channel, subscribe now and hit the bell icon to get the notification for my next video, as I'll be sharing with you every week many more such inspiring videos. Don't forget to like and comment on this video. It will motivate me to bring many more such similar videos every week. Share this video with your friends and family members who are trying to find different possibilities to start their own business. Thank you.